A lot about Soulcalibur has been lost over time. What happened, how it happened, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with Xbox. I don't know. I think a lot of it had to do with 8-way run. Ugh. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that 8-way run could never really contribute anything really positive overall, even though they seem to be the only people that really contributed anything. It just seems like they were never able to overall contribute anything positive, and because they were the only real contributors and they weren't able to contribute anything positive, then just nothing overall positive resulted. Everything over there is zero sum, null and void. And the reason it is because the culture is just really bad. And it's just really unfortunate because, people will sit there and put on their best little show when they're on the stream or whatever, and they'll be just so, nice and easy going. And you would never think that behind the scenes, these people would be just some of the most nasty, hideous, pitiful. I mean, why would you even play fighting games type of people? A lot of these people are not even fighters. A lot of these people, and this is what's happened. These people are not fighters. They don't know what it means to be a fighter. They don't have any sort of ethics of being a fighter. And see, this is the thing about sword fighting and the past that I've managed to deal with this with is the fact of when it comes to like sword fighting, there is an RPG element, and okay, it's nice that these people exist. Thanks for existing, because you guys exist, there seems to be a consistent flow of players after all this time. But it's in this same sort of motion that there's a demand for like a lot of stuff has really been lost. And because a lot of stuff has really been lost, there's really just nothing that's really and there's nothing that's really like fascinating going on. Everybody is trash. Now I don't really understand. I mean, I get it. You know what? What happened was you just let these freaking peons thrive for so long that they just reduce everything into nothing. And so in what we got to talk about is basically how to really play this game the right way. Now I've mastered it a couple of times in my lifetime, so it's like this is like kind of like my third rendezvous or whatnot. And throughout my times of like dealing with this, I managed to like give a little bit of like light onto like a people around me, and they managed to do things tremendous, but they didn't really manage to really pass along their information. So it's just like now you just got a whole bunch of just you know like RPG players and then like serious like video gamers that are like that like play Soulcalibur. So there's like no everyone's trash basically. Oh yeah, oh you're S tier, you get all these wins. Like these people literally have just managed to just determine like chains of commands and like probabilities. This is what these people are doing. So they this is what they basically get reduced to when nobody really knows how to play. And so what and it's more than just being able to play. And there's a and people that even are able to achieve like through basically just going through the right sort of the right process. Like when you fight and you have like oversight and you're able to achieve heights of fighting that people cannot achieve on their own, that the average person cannot achieve on their own. So for that reason you're able to transcend just basic comprehension and computations with your ability to fight. And so because people don't really know anything, everyone just most for the most part resorts to pure athletics gaming and like cheating. Like they'll literally sit here and do what it seems like has been done to first person shooters, and they'll derive ways of like finding creative ways, and then what do they do? These are the same people that just quit out and stuff like that because these people they're playing, for a majority of them are going to be jabronis. So their whole objective is like trying to figure something out. I don't, or just they're basically trying to like derive like somewhat of a casino system. And then, the thing about it is, out of all of these people, at the rate of what it is we're at now, probably like one in like I'll probably say maybe 20, one in probably maybe 25 players actually has what it takes and actually has the desire to achieve what they can achieve. And then out of those that are actually able to do that, only like a small fraction of them are actually able to just get to a level of almost invincibility. And so it's like, okay, there are people that want to be able to do this, and then there are also people that just want to be able to like I don't know, like derive like some sort of casino effect. Then there are also a lot of people that are just sitting out there trying to implement cruelty. You know what I mean? So and then there's a whole bunch of people that just want to just implement cruelty, and this is basically what has been allowed to reign on over there at 8-way run. And this is the reason why the player base has been reduced to what it's been reduced to. Just basically heartless, lifeless, you know, just player base. And then the ones that aren't, these are people from RPGs. And I mean, what are they gonna do? Like pull out a potion? These are the same people that in the time of Soulcalibur 4 were playing special match. They're the same people. They just basically taken over everything. So now we got a whole bunch of special match players. And then I'm just gonna say what it is. We got this fool over here Linkzor. We got this Linkzor man over here. This man is a Yoshimitsu player playing Siegfried. Just looking, just disrespecting the game. And nobody knows how to play. And so, it is what it is. Soulcalibur 5 came out, and then they did all this wild stuff to Siegfried to where, like, I'm over here, like, swinging through people's bodies, and I'm not even getting, like, hit detection. And I'm just like, all right, y'all want to sit here and do this because I go down a purist route and actually achieve, like, what it is I'm doing. And then, like, what do you guys, you don't want to feel the pain. So now what happens? Like, crazy imbalances, and then on top of that we got all these crazy whiffs, and then so now here we are. And the only person to carry over from previous time periods is Linkzor, and this man is not helping anyone do anything. None of them are, because of this whole 8-way run thing. Like, what it does is it just facilitates a really bad group of people. And this is why they all fall the way that they fall. I guess it just seems that this Linkzor, and his battalion of like zero tolerance nards have went down there and just straight like annihilated everybody. And it was just kind of wild when the dudes from Japan came over there and just blasted everybody out with Siegfried in Soulcalibur 5. They wasn't like they did that off of just basic, like, they just knew they just close to the Namco out there, so they just basically know like the series of events or whatever. And they just blew everyone out the water playing Siegfried. So I guess what now, like, Linkzor is supposed to be like the predecessor of what happened. Like, no, what the reality of the matter is that everybody out here is trash. They could have done the same thing with any character. They could have done the same thing with Voldo. They just did it with Siegfried because in Soulcalibur, just because of the way that Siegfried is balanced in the games. Anyways, a lot of stuff has just been really duffed out over time, and so basically what I realized I gotta do with this is just basically while I go through the process of remastering this game for like the third time in a row, just basically like narrate it so I can explain it to other people, so the most amount of people can figure it out for themselves, and they can kind of go down this path. Another thing about this is something that I'm also doing in Tekken. When you know how, when you have the right perception of what's in front of you and what's ahead of you, then you're able to traverse it really efficiently. And there'll be times when like you'll question certain like decisions and like approaches. And the thing is, if you go down the wrong path, you never really establish really the real strong rooting and foundation in what it really takes in order to reach the pinnacle of playing. Like you'll just reach very low ceilings to where you may be able to keep up with a player, like for example where you will get, or example where we're going with this, but you'll be sitting over here doing like Eye of the Tiger. Like these people, like you'll be sitting there using all willpower and force in your environment and surrounding to be able to stand tall. I'm just letting you know this. Like your meter will go straight to zero right after a basic round. One game, your meter will go to zero. And matter of fact, a lot of times this is what happens to these people nowadays. This is the reason why they play the way they'll sit there and play one game and then just straight up that's it. Because the thing is, and the reason why you crash out like this is because a lot of times people will be like trying to like do like little shortcuts, and the thing about like shortcuts and stuff like that is they typically rely they typically compensate for like certain weaknesses that a player may have. Like a player may struggle with like defense, or a player may struggle with like some aspect. Typically it'll be defense. So because the player will struggle with defense whenever they have to defend, it literally they'll literally be so stressed out. So what it will cause them to do is a lot of times they'll have to like perfectly execute their strategies, and what it will do is it'll really strain them. A lot of this will happen, and there'll be Eye of the Tiger, and like, and what do I mean by Eye of the Tigering? What I mean is like they'll be sitting over there like, like basically like when Naruto like is about to lose and like he manages to like muster up the strength like deep down inside, like they'll be doing that all the time. You know what I mean? So like you'll sit there and like you'll just beat them down to like 0%, and then they'll just be like, they'll just like wild out, and then they'll just sit there and they'll find a way to win. Like you'll be like 100% HP, and somehow they'll just do a combo that'll just that'll blow you out of the water. Here's the thing: when you're like unaware of this or whatever, this can really like catch you by surprise, and you can really like become like really overwhelmed. You'll be like, wow, like this person had all this skill all along. No, they did not have all this skill all along. They're using like hyper focus and like hyper senses just to do like the most low level strategy. Here's the catch to this: when you do something as simple as like, because you don't have the same flaw of defense, you'll sit there and like stop their little parade, and then what will happen is it'll devastate their meter. It's almost like if Goku were to like charge up and then like instantly lose like right after charging up. It's like how do you have a follow up approach that's any stronger? And the truth is that there is no follow up approach that is any stronger. And so this is basically the reality. The only problem is, see, a player at this stage can either have basically can continue to excel, or they can pretty much plateau out. And the thing is, if a player has the intention of really going far, that's what they really want to do, and they want to be able to do it in the purest fashion, then they can find themselves to be limited by the approach that they take in. Like for example, they just take a whole bunch of short information. And what is the most primary short information that I'm talking about? In the beginning, what you're gonna hear is no grabs, no lows, and no grabs, no lows, and like no hitting on the ground. So they'll proposition you with these rules, and it's interesting because by me like articulating it, it seems to be so beneath me. It's like, why would I even mention this? This is like jabroni. This is jabroni etiquette 101. Like this is like jabroni life. This is jabroni life. Like deep cover, like, you know what I mean, like this is like this is like jabroni like world right here I'm talking to you about. Like, why would I talk about something that's so low? The reality is that when you don't know anything and like you're new to something, and like especially when it comes to like fighting, these people will be like deer in headlights, and then add pride to the equation. That's how you get caught up in this jabroni reality. You don't know how to play the game. You get online, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, you sitting over here thinking you're making friends that like are competitive with you. No, these people are some straight up jabronis. This is how trash they are. All right. Now here's the thing: these people are so below, but this is the reality. This is the first proposition you will get hit with, and so a person with good intentions could go along with it. You know, like you're just a good-hearted jabroni. But the reality is that your growth would be stunted, and you wouldn't even understand it. So the first thing that I want to just basically dispel right now is the no lows, the no grabs, and the no hitting on the ground. If you ever hear this from anybody, just know, do not listen to them. And this is going to be the beginning of your journey. This is going to be the beginning of your adventure. And this is going to be the beginning of you being able to achieve the 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 heights, the greatest heights, because this is the moment that you have basically declared war on jabronis, and they will never cease. And this is what it means to be a fighter. So this is episode 1 of this, and we're gonna get into it. All right, so I'm just gonna take a small little intermission real quick, and then I'm gonna pick up with the explanations, and like, but when I come back, and we're actually gonna be playing or whatever. So the the pure approach is what I'm calling it right now. It doesn't really sound that good, whatever. I still don't know what to call it. It's something about this approach to playing fighting games that makes it so much more superior than any other approach. And it's, in a way it's organic, in a way it's pure, in a way it's golden, in a way it's kind of like essential. But it's for this reason why the only way you can really understand
in a cursed
it
castle hall, warriors dance in a masquerade of death.
Is
I'm not afraid.
the only way you can understand it. Is that you're talented? Is that you were raised with it? If you were taught by it? If you experienced it or if you've seen it in some type of way, like you just really wouldn't know. It's like it's something about like being able to really fight, and it's like not everyone knows what that really looks like, so not everyone can actually do it. So I don't really know what to call what I'm doing in terms of titling the approach.
Victory goes to the last one standing.
Maybe titling the fashion, you know, I don't really know even really how to articulate it.
Now I'm
And that's a huge part in why I haven't really been able to really get things started.
Claim victory and bask in the glory.
Explaining things through in Tekken and Soulcalibur. Because I'm always thinking to myself, like, how am I going to like title this? And I never can think of like a way to really explain it in a short phrase. It's like what I'm kind of teaching is vintage, you know?
The winds fan the flames of the warriors' fighting spirits.
very well. A battle it shall be.
Battle 1. Fight!
Anyways, the first step to this thing here, see, this is why you gotta have a title, so you could just have something to like really like speak on, like this thing here. So, beginning.
Stand. Fight to your last breath.
In the beginning.
Battle 2. Fight.
So the early stages. When it comes to fighting games, you have to be good at the game.
You're open.
And the only way you're gonna be good at the game is if you're able to play it really well. And if you the best way to learn how to play is against the computer. This is just the thing. If you can't beat the computer really fluently, then you're even less likely to be able to beat a person fluently.
The battle is over.
Now,
show respect for the fallen who
a
fought
person
so
can
bravely.
say, "Oh, I'm this is nothing for me to beat the computer. Watch, you know, I'm gonna just go run through the computer." Then go ahead, run through the computer then. Now, if you can run through the computer, then at that point, you know, congratulations. You're not a complete jabroni. Now, you can sit there and say, okay, I'm going to take this show on the road and I'm going to play people online and I'm going to establish my name or whatever. I'm going to hold it down.
A merchant ship replete with riches attracts more chaos than customers.
At minimum, you have to be able to run through the computer on the hardest difficulty to even decide to make
You're
that
definitely
decision.
not my type.
So this is the stage that we're at right now.
Fight!
Now there's two varying ways of running through the computer. Okay, now you can literally just beat them. And that's, you know, that's nice. And then you can control them. Now once you get to the point of controlling them, that's a totally different way of beating them. And you want to get yourself to the point where you can control them in beating them. Because anyone really can beat the computer.
So be it. Return to dust.
So believe it or not, a lot of people can. And regardless, you just have to be good at the game.
Know your place.
But yeah, it's better to get yourself to a point of
Victory goes to
control.
the
I mean,
last one standing.
Know your place.
like I said, if you can beat the computer and you can run through the computer, you're not a complete jabroni. You know, a lot of people, like at this point, they run through the computer like, you know, they be knowing everything.
So be it.
But see, that's what a jabroni is. This is just the beginning, like, this is the
Claim
early
victory
stages.
and bask in the glory.
It's really interesting. See, like, even a person with the right overall intentions can
well.
become a jabroni. This is why this information is really important, because it'll just save you a lot of, like, really, like, effort and, like, dealing with, like, literally a lot of the worst players in the game. And why is this important? Because what happen is if you play against the worst players in the game, and then on top of that, like, you know, you really like feel like they're really showing you something, then what will happen is you'll plateau because your ceilings will be really low. Because 99% of the time they're not teaching you anything.
The memories of ancient battles slumber, eternally unknown.
I'm gonna go all out.
Very well.
Battle 1. Fight!
You're mine! Here goes! I'll feel you! Hey! Sleep! Here goes! You're open!
So anyways, what I'm gonna do in this,
I'm not done! You're mine!
what I'm gonna do in this is I'm gonna basically get through the computer
Battle 2.
in 3 forms.
Here goes! It's over!
I'm gonna run through the computer just to win. Like in this instance, I'm just gonna try to win. And my objective really in this instance is just to get through it really quick.
Please! I'll feel you!
But yeah, it's just to get to the finish line really quick, because then the second time I'm play through, the objective is to play through with control. And I'll demonstrate the control by just basically having like deliberate results. For example, like not dropping combos.
I've lost it!
Things like that, like guard breaking, for example.
Victory will not come easily. It must be seized.
I've lost it!
And then also ring out.
Battle 4.
Let us fight! I'll feel you! Take Here goes! Desolate!
Essentially what you're doing is you're just fighting to the capacity that you know.
You're mine!
But see, when you're when you're just new in the early stages, you don't really know how well you can play.
Still fighting.
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who
So
fought
you
so
just
bravely.
aim to play.
I guess this means I'm the best.
The best you can against the computer. And it's cool because you can baby yourself through the process, you know, and you can just basically determine the difficulty level of the computer and basically work your way through the tiers.
Blood, flesh, and souls are offered to the gods amidst deathly chants.
Sword, quench your thirst.
I really hate this kind of thing.
But this is the beginning. This is the early stages. So yeah, the objective is just really just run through the computer. Just don't even worry about how you win.
Make a fine sacrifice.
Claim victory and back.
Now that's what I call a critical hit.
One thing that's good about Soulcalibur is the computer difficulty is really high.
The desire for power leads the warriors to the arid desert.
And in a 3D fighter, to have really high computer
I'm gonna
difficulty
go
is
all
like
out.
one of the best things that can happen.
I believe in the path I've chosen.
Battle 1. Fight!
You're mine!
Take this!
Say
Take this! No escape!
Because it just means that the game is really demanding.
Stay down! Come on! Devotion! Stay down! Take this! Now!
Give up!
See!
It's time! Fight on!
Battle 2. Fight!
Take this!
Which just means that it's just really punishing
Forgive
because
me! Flex!
when the computer level is low, you can get away with a lot more. And you know, you just don't have to really play that well in order to achieve a lot.
Battle spirit surging!
Fight!
Scream! Come on!
Which really just means that you have to just dominate the computer that much more.
Get pulled away! You're mine!
And it's like, you know, yeah, it's cool trying to like
Show
get
respect
perfect,
for the fallen.
just non-stop perfects, but
No matter what,
to play that
I
way,
always win in the
even
end.
that has a ceiling to where it's like, then you get to the point where you have to play against people. So yeah, you just play against the computer, and having this high difficulty is really
A
cool
single
because
slash can cut even the frozen air.
you gotta
in two.
play so much more airtight against the computer
I'm
when the
gonna
computer
go
can get
all
really good,
out.
because the computer can also do perfect blocking.
Boring! Just
And
like the
perfect
rest of
blocking
them.
makes the game so much more different.
Battle 1. Fight!
Stand aside!
Come on!
They can do perfect blocking and perfect ducking. Now there's different AI mechanics.
I love a good story. Bring it. Bring it.
Hope this works.
Just
Battle 2. Fight!
Not cool.
I won't.
Whoa now.
Battle 3. Fight!
You're forced to be a lot more resourceful.
I'll show you.
Claim victory and bask in the glory.
No matter what, I always win in the end.
Now there's one part that I did skip over, and it's one of the most important parts. It's one of the greatest parts. And I'm going to talk about that part after I get through this.
Warriors' spirits are forged below the never-ending skies.
You're definitely not my type.
Battle 1. Fight!
Because I said in before that the beginning was when you made a decision
Victory
to
goes
war
to
with
the
the
last
jabronis,
one
but
standing.
Battle 2.
that really wasn't the beginning. I mean, it
Arbitration.
the first part is the real beginning.
Solicitation. Take this and this.
Blown away.
Terrifying. Take this and this. Can you stand the test? Accept this from me. My love. You passed.
Blown away. You're mine.
It's not over. See? Right.
You're mine.
Victory will not come easily. It must be seized.
Battle
Reach my
3.
goal.
Fight!
Stick with me.
Take this. Get blown away. You're mine. Take this. Take this. Eat this.
Claim victory and back.
Over already? Oh well.
Actually, not. You know, I don't know. Is it the first part? I don't know. Is it the first part? I don't know. But you know what? It's not the first part. When you decide that you are not going to be a jabroni, and it is clear, then the first part is picking a main character. And in Soulcalibur 6, my main character is Cassandra. Now here's the thing. In the Soulcalibur series, my main character is Siegfried. It's just what they did to Siegfried in Soulcalibur 6. Like, they just basically anchored him just basically way out into the point of like, if you have to basically play him defensively and then also slug it out at the same time. So it's just like, he's basically so far in the spectrum that for me to sit there and like basically play with him as a character, I would need at least a healthy player base to play against, so I could actually like have people to play on different levels. But in this game, everybody, with the way that they have it now, everybody is basically like all the way up to like S tier. So the player base is basically is predominantly S tier. This is what they've done. And why are they S tier? Because so many people have come before me and been annihilated by these people. These people have strategically beat them out of XP to the point where they're all up there in this little S tier, and they're just these, you know, that's what they're doing. So it's just like, to play Siegfried from that point against them is like basically playing like S tier Siegfried from the start. And that basically puts Siegfried at a double negative, which even for a player like me who's basically mastered Soulcalibur twice already and who's played Siegfried in both instances as my strongest character, I just, even for me, that would take me a really long time. And it would be basically me learning Soulcalibur backwards, similar to the way that like I learned Tekken, and really I just don't really feel like putting in that long term of an investment with this being my third run. Also, being a Siegfried player, as long as I've been a Siegfried player, I basically know who Siegfried is and everything. And the thing is, Siegfried in Soulcalibur 6 is not Siegfried. So Siegfried in Soulcalibur 6 is probably the weakest Siegfried that I think I've ever seen. I think he's probably the weakest Siegfried. So, like, I'd probably say Siegfried in Soulcalibur 6, like if I could compare him to anyone, is like pretty much Slim Bob and like Tekken. It's like, you know, Slim Bob is like, you know, does the same thing that Bob does, and like, you know, Slim Bob, you know, moves around similar to Bob, but you just know that regular Bob is just stronger. However, Slim Bob is just more, you know, dramatic and like just like out there. And that's basically where Siegfried is in this one. And at the end of the day, I don't have time to sit there and, you know, do all the defragging of that character within the most traditional sense, especially learning the game backwards again, when I just have so many other things I have to do. Like, I have, you know, I got Tekken, you know what I mean? And then I got everything else going on. So, like, it's just like, for that level of like playing, I'm just not doing it right now. Aside from that, Cassandra and Siegfried, the thing about Cassandra is, let me think. Would I have played Cassandra as my main character from the beginning? It's very interesting, but basically, this is a decision that you have to make. You basically have to make this decision of who are you going to play. Now, I'm going to tell you why this is important. One, this is important because this is going to be the character in which you're the most likely to be able to win with consistently on a consistent basis. And this is also the character that the only character that you're going to be able to play that's going to be able to get you through this process. It's going to be able to get you through all these stages. And this is basically your main character. This is basically your strongest character. Now you can make a main character your main character because it's just the character you select, but there actually really is a true process to the process. And that is that your main character, it's better when you're able to relate to your main character and you have more of an affinity for the character that you choose. Now, this will have long-term effects and it has short-term effects. In the short term, it just really helps with you basically having game endurance and stuff like that. In the long term, what it does is it translates into play styles, and just basically fashions in which that you win. What you will realize is that when you pick a main, the right main, then as you get better with the character, you naturally play the character better. You know, you'll be able to win more efficiently with that character, and you'll find this to be true when you learn other characters as you go along, and you realize that it just seems like you're just not as efficient playing those characters as you are your main characters. Now, an argument could be made, and I know this may seem like over analytical, but what we're dealing with is we're dealing with fighting games, so there is this aspect to it. There, especially in Soulcalibur, with all these gamers out here that always out here doing all these formulas and stuff like that. An argument can be made that because you play with a character more, therefore you are stronger with that character. That's not true, because I can sit here and play Siegfried right now, and I can tell you that I'm not going to be able to win any more than I'm going to be able to win with Cassandra. I've played, now here an argument could be made, oh well, you play Cassandra more recently than you play. See, this is the thing. This is where character dynamics differ, and this is what I was speaking on in terms of how Siegfried is in Soulcalibur 6. Siegfried in Soulcalibur 6 is not Siegfried. Nightmare in Soulcalibur 6 is closer to Siegfried than Siegfried is. So anyways, but at the same time, these sort of changes with characters and stuff like that. Like, one thing you will notice too is like titles will change over time. It's just like with these sort of things, all these things into consideration are what you take into consideration with like your when you select your main character, and this is how these things pay off. This information and this understanding and this decision making process, this approach is basically the how you play Soulcalibur, really. So you got to pick a main character. So I'm going to just go through the little character board, and I'm going to kind of give you an idea of like all the characters. And then I'm also going to basically go through the next stage of the process. So here's the next stage of the process. The next stage of the process for me is basically to win intentionally, which means that when I fight this time around, I'm going to basically try to not just win in terms of just whatever it takes to win, but I guess a way it could be explained is I'm basically going to like do everything intentionally, which means that I'll have ring outs, guard breaks. Guys, this game has so many different mechanics. Then also I'm gonna have supers. transformations, and then also transformation attacks. This is kind of wild with Soulcalibur, how much more dynamic the game gets when you try to like intentionally fight versus just raw swinging and counter hitting. So this is what I'm going to do in this one. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and go through this board, and then I'm going to basically explain every character. So it's like when you kind of approach the game and you determine like who your main character is, this will give you a short guideline on like basically how to go about doing this. Because it really is an interesting part of the process, but most people just don't know it. Now, here's the thing. There was once a time when this process would be discovered or learned over just a period of playing a game. Like you would play arcade mode. But see, in this day and age, because we have online, and online is so much more now to be the norm of base playing, a player doesn't really spend enough time with a game just playing it on against the computer to really get to this stage to where they're just like so good at the game, that they just realize that like, oh, the player that they like playing the most is the character that they actually relate to the most, or the character that they kind of like prefer the most out of all the characters. Like this is kind of like typically how at one point people will come to the understanding, but nowadays it's to where like when you play a game, if the person doesn't know that like the character that they play, like I don't know, people play fighting games, I don't know. Like if you were to play a fighting game from the perspective of like a video game player, then you would kind of look at each character as kind of like an approach to winning. Like you would think to yourself like, okay, how can I win like the most amount of fights? And so basically, when it comes to Soulcalibur, that's where Keelik comes into play. Because Keelik, and then also Maxi. I'll be honest, that's where basically Maxi comes into play. Maxi is basically the Jabroni Lord, the character in which a video game player would think to themselves, if my objective is to win, then I will play Maxi. And so with that said, I'm going to take a small break before I get into the rest of the characters, but this is kind of like how you determine like your main character. So that's like the video game approach, and nobody's doing that. The video game approach is for jabronis and video gamers. The best way to do this is just to basically know who you are as an individual, like know who you are, and it's easier said than done. But if you know who you are, then you can figure out which character you can identify with the most, which character resembles you the most, and 9 times out of 10, that's your main character. So, like for example, if you're like a really like devastating, like dominating person, then you would play Astrov. So what is a typical example of this? Let's say, for example, like if you're like a linebacker, you know, or even if you have the sort of mentality of Astroth, like if you have that sort of like berserker uh, preference in fighting, like if you're more of a berserker, more of a brawler, then you would basically your best character, your strongest character will probably be Astroth. And in that case, if you play Astroth in the beginning, then you'll be able to get really good really fast. If you play a character that's not your main character in the beginning, like let's say for example you decide to play Oswell for whatever reason, or you decide to play Maxi just because you want to win, then what will happen is you'll get better at the game, but it will take you substantially longer because you just won't identify with the character. And and what that translates into is like you not having any interest in like the way the character actually fights, and you only deriving interest from all other elements of the game. That could work for you like when you're totally new to everything, depending on like where you're at in life and whatnot. But like if you're playing Soulcalibur, you should have a good understanding of video games. Like overall, you should basically be at a tier of like somewhat master when it comes to like all types of video games. Like you should have played Zelda at some point. you know Anyways, and that just kind of brings me to my next character, Siegfried. So this is where a character like Siegfried would play a role in this. And tip where like character like Siegfried would um kind of sort of another thing too is like, forgive me if my explanation gets kind of like real Poindexter with this. It just needs to be explained, and it's just we're talking about video games, so this is basically the way it's going. So yeah, you just gotta know who you are, and you just find a character that pretty much aligns with your character, and that's how it works. Cassandra in Soulcalibur 6 is basically Siegfried and basically all the other Soulcalibur. So that's basically how it's going. And you know what? That's not actually the truth. Cassandra in Soulcalibur 6 is basically Cassandra. Cassandra after Soulcalibur. Cassandra after Soulcalibur 2. But anyway, yeah, it kind of makes me wonder, would I have played Soul. So this is the same reason why like I don't particularly play like certain characters. This will also, you'll notice, like aside from understanding your main, you'll also understand characters that like you probably wouldn't really play that well with. Like for example, if I were to play Oswell, I probably wouldn't really be able to like excel, to say the least. But you just basically want to find characters you more or less identify with, because you'll also find that your ability to identify with the characters is gonna be the same as your ability to learn the characters, your ability to play with the characters, to translate like a lot of what's going on. So anyways, I'm gonna play through 2 more times. Except in this playthrough, I'm gonna play through intentionally, and then in the next playthrough, I'm gonna play through on legendary difficulty. And legendary difficulty is extremely demanding.
In a cursed castle hall, warriors dance in a masquerade of death.
Ah, sister! Why are you here? Enough. Let's go back home.
Battle 1. Fight!
I've had enough! That's it! I won't lose!
Battle 2. Fight! Battle 3. Fight!
Right there! Give up! Forgive me!
Battle 4.
Punishment.
Fight!
Now I'm mad. I'll show you. Did that work? Don't make this harder than it has to be.
In a cursed castle hall, warriors dance in a masquerade of death.
Enough.
Battle 1. Fight!
No forgiveness! No forgiveness! I won't lose!
Victory goes to the last one standing.
Battle 2. Fight!
Oh God! Purifying light! Not a child!
Battle 3. Fight!
And so you'll notice I'm losing a lot more. And it's because playing with control, and this is another thing about beating the computer. That's what I was mentioning about beating the computer, is that just purely beating the computer is easy a lot of times. And when you fight that way, that's basically the frequency that the Bronies fight at.
And bask in the glory.
I really hope that I can get away now.
The winds
A
fan the
consequence
flames
of fighting that way
warrior's
is you
fighting
can't really
spirits.
do anything impressive. You don't really ever have control.
You're definitely not my type.
Battle 1.
And your strongest part is establishing a rhythm.
Victory goes to the last.
Battle 2. Fight!
Anyways, no.
Battle 3. Fight!
You're mine.
Battle 4.
Started.
Fight!
I'll show you the price of integrity. As planned. Good luck.
Claim victory and bask in the glory.
But yeah, you can basically lock down the computer.
The winds fan the flames of the war.
On low
You're
difficulties.
definitely not my type.
And that could
Battle
be sort of a
one.
measurement of like where you're going.
Give up.
But it's just really low when you realize what you have to really do.
Move.
And this is what I mean. And I feel like I may be over-explaining this, but this is what I mean when I refer to like guard breaking intentionally.
Battle 2. Fight.
See, during this period, what you want to do is you're also learning the character, and what that means is that you're learning attacks and you're also learning attack properties. And by learning these attack properties, you know stuff like the strongest move, the fastest move, the move that does the best guard break,
Fight to your left.
Battle
the most devastating move, and you're more so applying it. Soulcalibur at its highest level is guard breaking. Because once you get to the point of guard breaking, wow, see, this is how you end up losing. Once you get to a point of guard breaking,
Stand.
it's because your opponent does not want to attack and your opponent just wants to block. And that a point is achieved when you're able to, when you know your opponent's timing. And so with characters, you can only achieve that skill when you're really like either a master at the game or you're a master with the character, one or the other. Typically, being a master of the game requires more than being a master of the character. And that's what I'm teaching. I'm teaching how to master characters as part of,
Victory will
is a
not
part
come
of,
easily. It
like,
must be seized.
it's just a part of the bigger picture.
Final battle. Fight.
Time to fight. Pretty good.
Claim victory and bask in the glory.
But yeah, guard breaking is pretty much like, see, and that's that. See, I made the mistake of pushing through, but
Oh well.
yeah, you want to push through. Like when you get to a point of like almost losing, then yeah, all right, go ahead, push through. But what you can see, what I'm doing is I'm really focusing on lining him up for that shield bash, because the shield bash from Cassandra is guard breaking. One thing about guard breaking attacks in Soulcalibur is typically guard breaking attacks will also put you at some form of frame advantage. The only consequence of guard breaking attacks is they're very slow and like rudimentary a lot of times. So like for example, that little shield move, it's just like really slow. It's easy to counter and sidestep.
A merchant ship replete with riches attracts
So
more
when you
chaos
get
than customers.
your timing and your game down together,
I'm
especially
gonna
with
go
like
all
Cassandra.
out.
Cassandra
If it's
really
a fight you
focuses on
want,
guard
it's a
breaking.
fight you'll get.
Battle 1. Fight.
Take this.
Now, and the shield bash is what that's for.
Take this!
And so you see how his shield is like this?
Out of the way! Try this!
Stand. Fight to your last breath.
Try this!
Battle 2. Fight.
Take this.
Try this! Bring it!
Oh, yeah!
Surf's gonna get rough!
Dang.
I'm gonna ride the waves!
The thing about Soulcalibur
Night
6 is
night,
they've managed to
sleep
really
tight.
bring the ceiling down with stuff like that.
Fight!
Try this!
And see, that's that Maxi. See, this is what I'm talking about. Maxi makes that first stage a lot easier to
Victory goes to the last one.
a lot longer
standing.
lived. So you can get by really far just doing random stuff with Maxi.
Stand aside! Take this!
You're mine. Payback. Okay. Good luck. Say enough.
Final battle! Fight!
Take this.
Try this! Am I too fast for you?
Time to fight.
Damn you!
Dang!
Try this!
Take this. Try this. Oh, what do you know? I just won.
Now, when you pick the right main character, this type of information won't necessarily be like trivial to you, and it won't be something you have to learn or research. It'll be something you'll more intuitively know, because the character will fight in a preference that you see fashionable, or initially just based on the way the character is styled. With a lot of things in this game being very formal, a lot of characteristics to fighting styles is translated in the characters, in everything in a character design.
The memories of
So
ancient battles.
where you
slumber
naturally
eternally
gravitate is
unknown
really
now.
where you really should be.
I hope you're ready, because here I come.
Very well. But I have questions of my own.
Battle 1! Fight!
It's over!
Dang.
Try this.
I'm not done! How the... Weak! Farewell!
Battle 2! Fight!
You're open! That's enough! You're open!
Dang.
Battle 3! Fight!
You're open! No! My true strength! You're open! You're good.
Try this.
Dang.
Good luck.
Battle 4. Fight.
Okay. Be up.
Here goes.
Second try. Huh?
I'm not done. KO. Final fighting for something. Fight. Here goes. My soul burns with purpose.
Direct strike.
No, my true strength. There's no escape. Purifying blade. Impressive.
Play.
No matter what, I always win in the end.
But yeah, it'll pay off because your styles will be more naturally aligned, so it won't be such a it won't be such a process trying to like know what to do and
Blood soul.
Battle 1. Fight.
Victory goes to the last one standing.
Battle 2. Fight.
wow.
Now that's what I call a critical hit.
So, Battle 1. Fight. Get ready. Entertain me. See ya. No mercy.
So the thing about fighting them intentionally is this. you still have to win. Like, and the reason being is because this is a good thing about having high difficulty levels to computer. Is if you don't beat them, it'll take you forever to get through them. So you just want to get proficient at this stage because you just want to get it over with. Be over here. If you let go of the gas, it could be a whole hour.
No mercy. I'll eradicate you. Want to see hell?
Man.
Souls will burn. Sink down with your fear.
Does that hurt?
Know your place. Battle. Incinerate you. Fight. Get ready. Entertain me.
Oh, yeah. It's time.
Take this. See ya. Is that all? Care to die? No. Out of my sight.
Dang.
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought so bravely.
That's another thing that's good about like a really good computer difficulty is they'll like show you stuff that you didn't even know you could do. Like this man really did a ground launcher into an unblockable. And they really will show you stuff you didn't know you could do, especially when you play on higher difficulties. But no, especially when you play on mirror matches. You play a mirror match.
A single slash can cut
on
even the frozen
legendary.
air in two.
Just like, man.
Battle 1. Fight.
I'm serious.
And in Soulcalibur, you know, this is how you gotta refine things. When everybody is on S tier. And, you know, they sitting there acting like they not gonna be the same jabronis. Like they not the same jabronis they always been. They're the same jabronis. We're just in the early stages, so it just seems like there's just so much going
Victory will
on.
not come easily. It must be seized.
Battle 2. Fight.
Incoming. Eat this. You're mine. Okay. Take this. Thrown away. You're mine. Win. Okay. Try this.
Battle
I'll
3.
do my best.
Fight.
You're mine. Come on.
See, right there, I kind of lost control, and I just got caught
Battle
up
is
with the
over.
idea of
Show
just
respect
winning.
for the fallen who fought so
But
bravely.
when you exercise
what,
control,
I
you
always win
can
in
get
the
to the
end.
point of being able to play with that level of intensity. It's just when you do play with that level of intensity, you won't drop everything, and the characters won't be all over the place. When you're playing like beyond your threshold, that's when you'll start dropping everything, and the characters will be all over the place. And this is how you know someone is winning with the eye of the tiger, because when people win and stuff is all over the place, they're using Eye of the Tiger in order to maintain focus throughout all the chaos. So, you know, is it like a way of like it's a way of using meter, that's for sure. I mean, you could sit there and match meter with them and you could just shut it down. It's just a lot of times it'll catch you off guard because when people use Eye of the Tiger, they just be so trash. It'll make you wonder how the two abilities connect.
To the human race.
You'll be like, wow, how did this person learn how to like
You're
launch?
definitely not
You
my
know,
type.
off of like such a
Battle 1.
weird setup, and it's just because they're just using Eye of the Tiger. A lot of Oswalds use Eye of the Tiger.
Try this. Go. It's going away.
Be careful.
Most jabronis fight with Eye of the Tiger a lot.
Victory goes to the last one standing.
Battle 2. Fight.
It's not bad when you're in the early stages if you're just learning what it means to fight and stuff. The thing about using a lot of Eye of the Tiger is it's very like stressful. Because when they start losing, they gotta see, I'm getting caught up just trying to win. I gotta do better.
Battle to reach my goal. Fight. Can you stand the test?
See?
Take this.
Now the character has like 2 grabs. Or does the character only have 1 grab?
Oh well.
The character has 2 grabs from that crouching position. The character has 2 grabs from that crouching position. And I gotta figure them out because whenever I land that attack, I basically gotta figure out a way to actually like make it stressful. And I think what I'm supposed to do is this like almost tackle move. Anyways, if you weren't really able to win intentionally well, when you're not able to win intentionally well, when you have high levels of CPU difficulty, then you can turn up the difficulty and you'll see how much it really affects you when you play against the computer and the computer does everything really well and you realize that you have to be able to do something on a similar level in order to win. Like, for example, if I'm really going to be able to win effectively when the computer is at legendary, you got to at least be able to use meter well. And it takes conscious effort.
A merchant ship replete with riches attracts.
I'm gonna go all out.
But I don't think I'm going to be able to beat legendary today. But when it's all said and done,
Battle 1. Fight.
we should be able to get through legendary pretty easily when
You're mine.
Take this.
Payback.
There's nothing else for me to really talk about in this one. And the only reason why I say it is because Inferno, you gotta have like experience knowing the strings in order to have a chance to beat Inferno, and I just don't have the experience right now. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, let me play Soulcalibur for like 5 hours while I sit here and lose to Inferno for 100 games.
Battle 3.
But what I am going to do is I'm going to try to get to Inferno in this episode, and I'm going to end it out with that. And what that really demonstrates is just that, at minimum, like, this is basically like, you should, like, okay, you're not a complete jabroni.
My last choice!
Incoming!
Wow.
Come on!
Incoming!
Yo, this man really?
Battle 4.
Avoided the knockdown.
All I can do is this! I'll ruin you!
I'll show you. Am I even using these right? Well, I won.
The battle is over. Show respect.
Oh, what do you know? I just won.
The win.
I
Battle 1. Fight!
Come on! What? Come on!
take this.
Kenshiro Mitsurugi. Do not forget.
The winds fan the flame. Battle 1. Fight!
Take this!
Battle 2. Fight!
Time to end you! Depart this life! The end. Bring
See, this is the problem.
Your time is over!
This is the problem. This man just did like 3.
Battle 3.
Started.
Fight!
Your time is over! Your time is over!
Try this.
Ready?
Dang.
Kenshiro Mitsurugi. Do not forget this name.
See what I'm saying? So once you fight against these fools like this, you just get to the point
The
where you're
winds
just like,
fan
all
the
right,
flames of the warrior's fighting spirits.
I'm gonna have to get to a point where I'm gonna have to be able
I
to
hope
really
you're
like
ready,
run through these
because here I come.
run through the computer at this skill level, and this is what causes you to really learn how to play. Because you gotta fight within your. You know what? Look at that.
The true battle begins here!
No escape!
His sons! Right!
Get ready!
Battle 2. Fight!
No escape! Incoming! Get blown away! Incoming! Take this! Incoming!
Ready?
Get blown away! Take this! I'll show you!
Wow!
Take this!
This will?
Wow! And so yeah, that's why guard breaking is the highest level of Soulcalibur, because wow. That's what Soulcalibur is.
Mercy? I have none!
When everyone's really good. So I mean, you could play it on jabronis. It's just you gotta be way better than them in order to really get away with it because
Not yet.
you gotta be way better in order to get away with it. Because if there's one thing a jabroni could do is counterattack. But it's okay because if they're gonna be that busy, then in that case you can really play against them. Get the alright, this is really doing a lot.
I won't run. Not now.
Cuts.
Direct strike.
Wow.
What are you?
Ooh.
Final battles. Fight. What? Stay up. Cuts.
Dang.
Mercy. I have none. You Kurasa.
Come on. Ooh.
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought so
You
bravely.
see where his guard is? His guard was red.
Oh, what do you know? I just won.
See, the thing about Soulcalibur is Soulcalibur, for what it is mystifying, it is still very slow. So your ability to internalize that is going to take a long time. This is why playing against a computer is really cool.
A single slash can
Because
cut even the frozen
the
air
longer
in
you
two.
can play against a computer, the
I
computer
hope
doesn't
you're
really
ready,
mind
because here
losing.
I come.
My mission is battle one. Fight.
But nowadays, even more so, the computer is more important because people don't see friendship the same way they used to before online. Because there was no online, consequently, now online the landscape. It just makes way for a lot of the wrong things. And here we are in this day and age, a lot of stuff is lost in translation. And the ability of play it's gotten to the point where just the ability to play has been affected.
Swords united.
Does that mean that no one can play? No. People always are going to figure out a way to play. It's just...
Go down.
Despair. Charge.
Incoming.
The percentage of players that actually can play versus the percentage of players that can't is really impacted.
A storm's coming. Low and great courage.
sound. No surprises here.
Now, imagine if had I won that round. This man would have went into the next round with a guard that's about to be broken. I would have been up 2 meters. That's basically where you want to get with it.
I
And you
hope you're
see,
ready,
this is something that's just
because here I
happening throughout the
come.
course of just this
My
fight.
mission is what matters.
But when you
not
play
you.
against a computer at lower difficulty levels, you should be able to force this more so on your opponent. Because they're way slower. It's just, this is, because you're playing at such a height, this is just normal. But it shouldn't take a really difficult opponent for you to be able to do this. In fact, it should be the exact opposite. The easier your opponent, the more you should be able to do things like this.
Battle 2. Fight. Take it. How about this? Low and full courage. Feel my blade. Display. Take this.
Take this.
Get out of my sight. Deploy destructive order.
Take this.
Go for it. KO. Battle 3. Fight.
Take this.
Receive. Deploy.
Take this.
Receive. Leave.
Take this.
Scarlet Flame. Scarlet Flame. KO. Battle 4. Fight. Despair. Charge. Blow and full courage. Scarlet Flame.
You. The price of integrity. As planned. Incoming. Payback.
Will be erased.
Dang.
It ends here.
Atone for
Alright,
the
so anyways, I'm gonna have to
witness.
wrap this up because I'm getting kind of tired of playing. This is what I'm talking
My
about.
information is sound. No surprise.
So I'm just gonna buckle down and just get up to Inferno so I can just, end this. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. That's how you
A
start
single
out, that's
slash
how you
can
pick
cut
a
even
main,
the
and this is
frozen
what you
air in
basically do in the
two.
beginning.
My mission is
Battle 1. Fight. Take this.
You're mine. Take this.
Low and full courage.
Take this. Incoming. Take this.
Scarlet. Scarlet.
Yeah.
Evade.
Take this.
Battle 2. Fight. Take this.
Okay. Just give up. Yeah. It's hot.
How about room? Your weakness. Get out of my sight. All speed up.
Away. You're mine. Time to fight.
Scarlet Flame. How about this? Go for it. KO. Battle
Started.
Fight. Crumble.
victory.
Be gone. You are no threat to me. My
Battle 1. Fight!
How about this? Despair! Charge! How about this? Leave! Separate! How about this?
Look at this stupid ass move.
Victory will not come easily. It must be seized.
Battle 2! Fight! Leave! Naive!
I win.
How about this?
I win.
Victory goes to the last one standing.
Battle 3! Fight!
Okay. Here goes.
Scarlet Flame!
Take this. Incoming. Incoming.
Scarlet!
Take this.
Get out of my sight!
Incoming.
Scarlet Flame!
Incoming. I won't run. Not now. Incoming.
Scarlet Flame! Battle 4! Fight!
Incoming.
Get out of my sight!
Incoming. Take this.
Leave! This
Incoming. Incoming.
Unbelievable!
I'll show you.
Naive!
Payback.
Wow.
What?
Scarlet Flame!
Oh, what do you know? I just won.
Warriors' spirits are forward.
Battle 1! Fight!
Take this.
Be careful!
Huh?
Stick with me! Impossible! Yeah! Hope for humanity!
I'll show you. The price of integrity. Am I even using these right? Well, I won.
Battle to reach my goal! Fight! Listen up!
Your moment is nothing.
Be careful! You feel the power of reason! Almighty! The power of reason!
Over already? Oh well.
So,
Battle 1. Fight!
Incoming! Incoming!
Run!
Take this!
Yo! Run! Over here! Yo! No!
Take this!
No!
Battle 2.
Fight! Impotent! Behold! Behold! Run!
It's time!
I've waited for this! My abyss shall take you! Just as it is written.
Battle 3.
Fight! You are indeed strong! This is your fate! Behold! Battle 4! Fight! I've waited for this! My abyss shall take you! Satisfied now? Attack on you! What? Freedom! You shall die! No! No!
That was just.
The battle.
Your purpose has ended. You may die.
Battle 1. Fight!
Behold!
Incoming!
Oh, good.
Battle 2. Fight!
Take this!
Battle 3. Fight!
This is your fate! Know the power
Of the abyss!
you are in.
Run!
Try this!
Run! Attack on you! Fool! Unleash!
I won't run. Not now. Hot.
Battle 4.
Started.
Fight!
Incoming. You're mine. Enough. Now I'm incoming.
Dare you peer into the abyss! Don't oppose me! No.
Final battle.
Yourself. Fight no.
Know the power
Of the abyss!
Now I'm good luck. It's time.
Attack on you!
Yo, this man really did all this.
The battle is over.
I shall continue with my quest until I find what I seek.
This man really did all that. This man really did all that.
Warriors cross swords beneath the gaze of the ancient god.
So,
Battle 1. Fight!
No. Ready? I see. Attack on you! No. You stay frozen!
Yo. All that guaranteed.
Victory will not come easily. It must be seized.
Battle 2. Fight!
What?
Attack on you! Unleash!
Like, what is this?
You're mine. Enough playing. I won't run.
This man jumped
now.
and did it inside. This man really jumped back and did a whole inside.
Victory will not come easily. It must be seized.
Oh, that's how the computer is.
Leave your hope in shreds.
Take this.
There you peer.
Dang.
Into the abyss!
Now I'm ready. It's getting hot.
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought so bravely.
Oh, what do you know? I just won.
Let's... Battle 1. Fight!
Take this. Get pulled away. You're mine.
Not so fast! Entertain me!
Man.
Get ready! Battle 2! Fight! Get ready! I'll eradicate you! Return to dust! Get ready! Feudal!
Wow.
Get ready!
Stand.
Battle 3!
Started.
Fight! Take this! Taste my power! Get ready now!
What?
See ya! See ya! See ya! Out of my sight! Burn in hell! Prepare myself! Want to see hell? Souls will burn! Now to take your soul! Now you know despair!
These freaking fools, man. This is the reason why you need to just get to a point where you can just run through these fools.
Blood, flesh, and...
Let's battle 1. Fight! Get ready! So be it. See ya! Entertain me!
Look at this. Wow, really?
Battle 2. Fight. Get ready. Feudal. Entertain me. Feudal.
Wow.
Get ready.
Wow.
Want to see hell?
Look at that. Look at that. That's like 4 misses. Wow.
Battle 3. Fight. Get ready. Sophie.
What? This man got a just. This man got a just block off of that. This is. This man got a just block off of that.
Now to take your soul.
Wow.
Final battle. Fight. Want to see hell?
What?
Swords will burn. Sink down with your fear.
Why did this man get guaranteed damage off of GI? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Get ready. Entertain me. Want to see hell?
What? This is what I'm talking about. You get guaranteed damage off of that?
Will burn. Sink down
This
with your
fool's
fear.
gonna die.
Did that hurt?
What is going on?
The battle is over. Show respect for the fallen who fought so bravely.
Over already?
If I can guess, he's probably not GI. He's probably using meter to do those GIs. That's the only way I can assume. You're able to net guaranteed damage on them like that. And for them to be so lingering. So what that really means is that at some point I'm going to have to be able to do that when I play against a computer on
In a cursed castle hall, warriors dance in a
the lower
masquerade of
difficulty.
death.
I really...
Battle 1. Fight. Darkness devours all. Descend into despair. Worthless love. Out of my sight. Battle 2. Fight. Ready to be crushed.
Come on. There we go.
Battle 3. Fight!
You're mine.
Dang. Oh my goodness.
Battle 4. Fight!
Monster. Get out of here.
To be crushed! Relinquish!
Direct strike. It's time.
Soul Edge! Lend me your strength!
Incoming.
KO! Final battle! Try to resist! Ready to be crushed! Scuttle away!
Hephaestus, lend me your strength. Incoming. Now that's what I call a critical hit.
Battle 1. Fight!
Stand. Fight to your left.
Battle 2. Fight! KO! Battle 3. Fight! KO!
Claim victory and bask in the glory.
So yeah, that's basically it. I'm gonna keep working on this. I'm gonna listen back just to see how things sound. Forgive me, if it is whatever it could be that it might not be right. But I'm gonna keep trying to push through with Soulcalibur, and The objective really is so that other people can learn, and then the game can kind of like manage because without me, because it just seems like for all the time that I haven't played, it just seems like the game has really just kind of gone downhill, and it just reminds me of like the times when I do play, how things manage to pick up, and I just come to realize that the reason that this happens this way is because there's no one else out there with this type of information. But like I said, those people that you see over there that are like S tier and all this other stuff, they didn't get there by just using like hacks and just boosting. They really got there by just really grinding out players over all these years. And I think we're on year number 10. So they had 10 years of doing that, and not only that, they had a chance to really like chew up the original player base, and that's the reason why the game is at where it's at now. Those are jabronis that managed to endure the test of time, which is basically outlive the initial spike of the game, and also continue to play through what is conceived to be like slower periods of it, are the ones that are like S tier right now. But those are the same ones that basically they just basically cultivate jabronis. And they do so they can have people to beat. And it is what it is, but what it's not is, it doesn't really explain people how to get to basically where I'm at with things. And for that reason, they get kind of more or less stuck as jabronis. So I'm just kind of like explaining my way through it this time around, while I'm sitting here mastering this game for the third time. Right now, where I'm at with this, I'm to the point where Cassandra is all right, but I have to be able to play Mitsurugi. Like, for example, there are a lot of characters that I'm not good with playing at all, and I don't really understand. And it's a huge majority of the roster, and so I just have to work the roster down. Right now, I'm kind of to where I know 20% of the roster, and I have to basically whittle it down to the point where I know like half of the roster. Once I get to the point where I know half of the roster, I'll be able to pretty much play Soulcalibur the same way I play Tekken, to where I won't exactly be like a complete like master, but I'll be able to just have them on their heels. Right now, I can't even basically push forward online at all because, like I said, they're all on S over here. There's like no jabronis left. So this is basically like where fighting games go. Like once they kind of been out for a really long time. Like if you're ever wondering what happens to fighting games, like when they've been around for a really long time, this is basically what happens. If the player base is strong and pure, then there'll probably be another title that could potentially have been better than the last one. Or the game will be really in heavy rotation, regardless of the fact of how seasoned it is. Like, for example, when you had Smash Brothers Brawl or when you had Street Fighter 5, like no one even really cared when anything else was to come. You just had Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 5 Ultra. No one ever thought that it even mattered, that there was going to be something else. So that's kind of where you get when you have the right player base. When you don't, what will happen is you'll end up basically with more of like a desolate wasteland, which is basically where we're at right now. And the reason being is just because the player base that does exist, their whole objective is really just to like annihilate anyone who tries to play. They don't pass anything down And a lot of it has to do with the fact of they don't really know anything. A lot of them are really trash. A lot of them are just like video game players, and also a lot of them are RPG players. But none of them are actually like pure players. Most of them never even experienced the process. They never even had a chance to engage someone that possibly would. But basically, the way it works is in the beginning, you play against the computer and you basically develop a real strong sort of like affinity for the game entirely and a real strong understanding of specific characters. If you are going down like the most classic route, you want to have a good pool of jabronis. At least that way, you can go through like the purest form, which is basically to play one character solely and to master that character first before playing any other character. That truly is the path. It's just nowadays you don't have such a base a pool level. Now, if a game is new, you could have that pool level, but some games kind of void this. Like I think Tekken 8 might somewhat void this with the simple fact of the ceiling is so low that even the new pool level is like pretty much playing against people that are like really high level. So in terms of like being able to derive consistency and like life lessons and like ethics and stuff like that through what you're doing. And I know that may seem like a lot, but really when you get to the point of just really just devastating opponents, you really understand things really at that level of depth, and that's the reason why you're able to do it so effortlessly. They'll be going through these learning arcs if they're able to put themselves on the proper trajectory, but 9 times out of 10 they're just jabronis and they'll be using Eye of the Tiger. So in this day and age, with the way the conditions are, because you don't really have that player base, we're just gonna have to do this the straightforward way and the best way. And the best way is just to learn character by character. You basically got to start off with what you know. What is your main characters, and me personally, I just basically start off with like just process of just first string, second string, third string, and you just pick characters based at that on that order, and that's basically your play order. That's basically your skill order. Like right now, if I'm going to play like a really hard game, and like so you have your best is like your number one, your number two, and basically you get them in order based on how much you learn. I think there's like 30 characters. So when it's all said and done, you're gonna have your characters basically organized in tiers based on where you're at with them. If Tekken is any indication of where it typically goes and where it will most likely go with Soulcalibur is you'll have the characters separated based on tiers. So for example, characters that you're like extremely proficient with, they will be your A tier, then you'll have like a B tier, your C tier. I find that like the newer characters are always typically going to always be in C, but relative to like how proficient you are with the characters is going to determine where they're at between A and B. It's not bad if a character is B tier. It's not bad if a character is C tier. But what is bad is when a character is not on any of your tiers at all, because what that means is that you don't know anything about the character. And what happens in those situations is you play against opposition that will be able to take advantage of this, and it'll make lower level opposition more difficult than they have to be. Typically, this shows in counter picks, but it'll just have that effect. And this is the byproduct of not knowing a character at all. This is why it's kind of like whatever. If a character is C tier, it doesn't really matter. As long as you know the character, that's the reason behind learning them. But that's also the reason why at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you got to learn most of the roster. Duplicate characters can you got to learn most of the roster. And the more of the roster you know, the faster it will be for, and the easier it will be for you to continue learning through. And I used to question whether or not the speed in which you're able to learn more is fast enough to where it was whether or not it was really worth it. justified all that dedication, because like in the beginning it'll probably take you probably like 6 months to learn one character. And I know it's something that people don't want to accept, but it's something that you'll realize when you've played a character for half a year, and you realize how much better you are at the character than when you first started, and how much you thought you knew then when you first started. So you'll question whether or not, like, you'll be like, wow, so if I'm really gonna learn like 5 characters, that means that I'm not gonna be proficient with them for like 6 months. Like, how do you rationalize playing a character and not being proficient with them? This is why you play against the computer, so you can derive proficiency from them. That's first and foremost. But also, it's just you may not be proficient in regards to them being like an A tier or a B tier, but you could be proficient in regards to them being a C tier. And also, your timing will shorten substantially. Like 6 months can turn into 6 weeks. you know the more of them you learn, the more characters you learn, the more inputs you learn, the more different types of time frames you learn, the more core of the game you learn at the same time. So it kind of, all of it does is it all helps narrow down the learning curve, and by the more characters you learn, the faster you're able to learn all the characters. So in the beginning, it'll be very slow, but once you know 3 characters, before you know it, it'll be 6. And then once you get to 6, before you know it, it'll be 12. And then it's like almost as soon as you learn 12, immediately it'll be like 30. So that's basically how rapid the pace is when you learn character by character. Now this takes me back, and this is what I'm gonna close on in my logic behind learning games like Soulcalibur and Tekken backwards, was because like once I had gotten to become one of the best players in Fight Night, and I kind of knew what it was like to be absolute one of the best at the game, I just realized that like just being one of the best at the game in regards to winning isn't really where it's at. It's really more about being able to win, and to be able to win comfortably. And the only way you're able to really win that way is through basically being able to get into the master class, and then be able to continue to go past the master class to get into like legendaries classes, and even like here on Soul Calibur they have a legendary mode, so it's like to get past legendary, and then basically to get to a point of almost to where it seems like an invincibility, right? So once you get to these points, like to know that those points even exist, to be able to get to that's really where it's at. And so I just decided to learn Soul Calibur and Tekken backwards because I really wasn't in a rush, and really also because what you realize when you win professionally, or you get up to the top levels, is that you can do whatever it is, and you can win and stuff like that, but the more that you are able to learn and stuff like that, the easier it is to win. So you might as well just go ahead and just keep your learning, because what will happen is a lot of times when people get to those levels, even before they get to master, like once a person gets to a point where like they can feel like they're like an online pro, and this is like semi-pro. Typically, people are satisfied even at semi-pro, to the point where they'll stop learning once they get to semi-pro, because by the time a person is semi-pro, that's enough for them to have a chance at winning a tournament. And if a person can win a tournament and they get semi-pro, a lot of people's egos pretty much tell them that they're like a master of the game. And they don't, at that point, they pretty much don't have to listen to anyone. But also, in order to get to that stage, it could vary for a lot of people, and for most people, it takes like a super long time anyway. And this is the reason why like a lot of players will plateau a lot, and they'll plateau, and they'll be like some person that like you heard of that like won one tournament and it was kind of cool, and then like like it seems like whenever they ever played again, like they never really make it to the top, or like they just never make it to the top. You never see them make it to the top. This is because they plateaued. And what happens is they plateau because they get to a point where they have to rely on Eye of the Tiger. And the thing is, if you have to keep doing Eye of the Tiger all the time, everywhere you go, you gotta do Eye of the Tiger. Like, I mean, you just become Eye of the Tiger. Like, and then, I mean, you can only keep up Eye of the Tiger so long. You know, I mean, it just takes all this build, all this work and effort to enforce. And that type of energy is better invested in learning the game. The problem is, a lot of times when people get to semi pro, they become jabronis. Then they don't even know it. They just are jabronis because they end up befriending all these other people that are semi pro too, and they're all, you know, all ego and whatnot, and they just all becomes this whole bunch of jabronis. So I think I've said enough. But yeah, you know, they all just become jabronis, and that's kind of what happened. Um, what happens when games manage to like reach a certain pinnacle? They all want to kumbaya and become jabronis because the skill gaps are so grand that they don't even want to fight anymore. So, you know, it is what it is, but what I'm basically showing you how to do will help you get to that stage really fast. And you'll be less inclined to become a jabroni, and you'll just be more inclined to be able to consistently, you know, succeed. And the first objective in this challenge, the first stage of this is getting through online. And before you can even play online, the first stage of this really is getting through just the game basically. And it's cool because nowadays you can just play against the computer. You know, it just is what it is. Sitting there thinking that you're going to be able to make a whole bunch of friends is all it's going to do is make you into an early jabroni. And if you want to be an early jabroni, then you might as well no grabs, no lows, and no hitting on the ground. And then you can go run around with them all day. Yeah, they'll give you something to play against. But anyways, with that said, that's pretty much it for this one. In the next one, I should be at a stage where I'm able to really fly through the computer on legendary, and at that point, I'll really be sort of more so at the end of the early stages, but that'll be like me like prior to like really starting to play online again. I'm also concept writing Soulcalibur, so you can check a link to that in the description. And with that, that's my time, and I'll catch you. With that said, that's my time, and that's it for this one.